This video is sponsored by Virtual Gladiators. Virtual Gladiators have everything you need to make your very own Minecraft or Hytale server. Click the link in the description to find out more.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Hycast, the premier Hytale podcast. I'm your host, Fezzy, and today we're joined by CanadianFlash. Welcome to the podcast. We're glad to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, great to be here too, man. It's an honor. Could you tell us about yourself and where you see yourself in the Hytale community?
Ooh, okay. So, well, I started making Hytale videos about when the trailer released, as pretty much everyone did. I basically just do like theories and speculation videos, but when Hytale comes out, I'm probably going to be doing more like adventure mode, and I'm thinking of doing the Hytale Olympics when that comes out. Hopefully I can gain like 100,000 maybe subs with that, but that's the end game, but hopefully maybe more after.
Yeah, cool. So, I know you have been doing YouTube for a while because, you know, me and you were around back in the earlier Hytale community. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that you have some plans. It's going to be interesting to see because it's going to be a very, very exciting launch, I think. So
I can't wait.
We're going to kick this off with some Hytale lore stuff because I know both of us in particular have had some background with theories and lore kind of deep dives. So how do you think the lore will affect the player's choices and decisions whilst playing through the adventure mode?
Well, for the adventure mode, we know it's not a like linear path of an adventure mode, so I think players can just go around the world doing whatever they want. Basically, like kind of like Ark Survival Evolved in that sense. You can like there is an end game boss, and like Minecraft, there's an end game boss, but it'll be like different approaches to get to that boss. Like you can rush through the game and like just go straight to the boss, or you can like build up your armor, get like full diamond, and then fight the Ender Dragon at the end and stuff like that.
Yeah, it'll be kind of open worldy. There's other games that have done that, and it's usually really cool because every playthrough you have is very different. It's kind of a dynamic element to the way you play through it, and it makes it replayable. So I think that's a good way to approach it. I think that's going to be pretty fun. And it appears that the Outlanders possess some magical abilities through their rituals and priests, speaking of bosses and enemies. What kinds of abilities do you expect them to possess, and do you believe some darker powers like Viren are involved with them?
Well, personally, I think it would be really cool if the Outlanders can, like, raise the dead, kind of like in a zombie way like that. We know there are zombies in Hytale, but as we know, like, the Outlanders, they use the dark magic, and it says that can, like, it basically refers to it to achieve, like, eternal life. That's what, at least I took out of it. So, just say you're fighting, like, the Outlander priest or, like, the Outlander chief or something, and then you're just fighting his army, and you see a bunch of, like, Outlanders come out of the ground. I think that would be really cool, and I think that would be the powers, like, obviously all Varen's powers, because he has more of the dark magic, and I kind of feel like it's like Star Wars in that sense, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you have, like, more power if you're on the dark side, but then if you're using, like, the power of Gaia, it's, like, more limited, and you have to, like, use your powers in a way to defeat it, in, like, that sort of sense.
It's almost like more tactical, more thought.
Yeah. You have to, like, use your mind
that'd be
more.
Interesting. I know that I think in the blog post they mentioned that they're masters of death or something along those lines.
I read that, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be very interesting to see, like, if they're, I mean, we know there's the really big guy, but it'd be interesting to see if, like, their shamans or whatever they're called actually spawn in mobs, because that could be actually a really chaotic scenario if you have a bunch of them.
I think it'd be really cool like that too. And I was also thinking, I just thought of this right now, that if they can maybe control mobs that are in the outside area, so just say you have, like a deer or something, or you get like the void eye, you can like bring them into them by using their magic, because I know they use they use like water magic too, so I don't know if they get animals like that surround water around.
It'd be kind of cool, like corrupt them or something. That'd be really interesting to see, actually. And speaking of Varen and like all those evil things, evidence seems to hint that he'll be like one of the bigger, more prominent antagonists in the Hytale universe. So do you think in this case he'll be a final boss for the game, or if he's going to be just one of the bosses scattered throughout the game?
Well, in my opinion, I think he's going to be the final boss. I personally think like you see concept arts of him going around. He looks like the big bad guy in the game. Plus, we also have the concept art of like the evil mark, or like the Varen's evil and the evil contained, which we see all over him and all over a bunch of mobs like the Void Eyes and all over the Outlanders. So I think they're all going to be like his henchmen, and then he's going to be the big boss that you fight at the end of the game.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, because I think they actually might have mentioned in a blog post at some point that he is kind of like the ultimate evil in terms of like him versus Gaia. It'd be interesting to see how that fight plays out if he uses like kind of all the elements from all the different evil mobs in the game, like from the from the Outlanders, and if they're able to raise mobs and stuff, if you can do that, but even on a bigger scale, it may be pretty crazy. I'm interested to see how that turns out. So what are your thoughts on Gaia being kind of the protagonist of Hytale? And do you think Viren, whatever, it will be powerful enough to actually stop her?
What do you mean by stop her? Like, what is she going to be the...
So I'm going to guess, because we've seen in concept arts that Gaia's kind of been trapped in...
Yeah, I see.
She seems to be dormant. She seems to be like... So do you think that he caused that? Or like he maybe is the one that defeated her, possibly previous to the game? Like, it kind of depends on where the story
I've made like lore like videos saying that like Varen and Gaia like have fought against each other, and then like Gaia used so much like of her power to stop Varen that she just like is burnt out, kind of, in a sense like that. So that maybe she's just dormant and we have to like go to her planet, which I assume is Numdrazil, reawaken the elements to like reawaken her. In that sense, I think that would be a pretty cool concept. And I think Varen is the reason why she is dormant right now.
It would make a lot of sense. It seems like that, because I think there was one concept art where we actually see her quarters, I guess, and she's trapped in some kind of crystal or something. So it'll be interesting to see if like maybe we free her or something. But moving on, we're going to move on to NPC factions and allegiances, assuming that the feature is in the game, of course. Which factions would you make? Because we heard that in the beginning, the first ally you technically meet is the Quebecs. So it's possible that there may be some kind of system where you can ally with different, groups. So if that feature did exist, who would you
So obviously
ally
I
with
would love
first?
to partner with the Quebecs, from being Canada, Quebec is like a province in Canada, so obviously gotta have some sentimental value there. But also I really would like to connect with maybe the Farons, and I'm not sure if you heard of this, but the Fawns, if you know what those guys are. I'm assuming that they're a Zone 3 mob. And I saw in some like blog posts that it says the Outlanders are like, they build high walls to keep out like some sort of animal, which I assume would be the Fawns, which if the Outlanders are the bad guy in Zone 3 and then the Fawns maybe would be the good guy in Zone 3, then I would love to partner with the Fawns. But I think it would be really cool if you defeat like Chieftain, like the chief of the Torques, then you can maybe like partner with the Torques in like a game, or partner with them just going around the map maybe, so they don't attack you or something like that.
That'd be really cool. And to kind of elaborate on the idea of allegiances and groups kind of, against each other, do you expect there to be a system that makes the different groups communicate with each other and treat one another differently? Like maybe choosing one faction to be hostile towards or ally with, like based on the NPCs? Because that could be a very interesting mechanic.
Well, we already do know that the like Skarax have enslaved the Farons, so I don't think that those two factions would be pretty friendly to each other, and we know that the Quebecs and the Torques probably will have like a battle along them sides too. So I think maybe if you like the Farons and the Quebecs would meet against each other, since they're both like good guys in that sense, that they would be like going together. But then maybe if like the Torques and the Skarax would like go together, then they'd be like together, and then they'll like have a big war between the Farons and the Quebecs, and then like the Skarax and the Torques, maybe something like that. You can maybe have the Outlanders go together with like the Void Eyes and the other like Varen mobs versus like the Fawns and like yourself, like that. So I don't think like the bad guys will all like go in together with the good guys, but I do think the bad guys will create a huge big alliance together.
Kind of an army kind of thing. And to elaborate on that even further, do you think you'll be able to create like a faction with other players and maybe incorporate NPCs?
Well, we know that it is
into
multiplayer. It would be cool if like you can have the game sense like in Minecraft, how you can create a banner, but then have that banner be like your own set faction in the game. So if you can maybe create factions with the players, that would be awesome. I would do that because I'm going to be playing the adventure mode with a bunch of my friends. I'm not just going to be playing it solo. So if we can have like a humanoid faction with like maybe combined with like elves or something, because we've seen elves in the game against like Varen's army, I think that would be a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, that would be. So when meeting other factions that could be hostile, do you think that there would be kind of a sort of peace treaty or ceasefire feature that would temporarily neutralize any tension between you and them?
Well, personally, I would like to see like a peace treaty in that type of way, but I don't think it should stop you from like actually hitting those mobs like when you're in the like game sense. Like it shouldn't just be like in Minecraft when you're playing like a teams game, like you physically can't hit somebody. I think it should be like you hit somebody and they would take damage, and maybe if you hit them, then they would get kind of mad. It's kind of like when we see in like the blog post where if you bring an axe to a Quebec village, they will get hostile on you, but if you put the axe away or don't bring an axe, they'll be friendly to you.
Okay, so like kind of dynamic moods based on interaction and stuff. That'd be kind of cool to see, because you know, that is a fair point to make, that the whole friendly fire thing, like, it'd be cool to see if you could like, there'd be kind of some funny clips that would amount from that if someone accidentally hit,
that would be hilarious,
and then everyone turns against them. It'd be interesting to see if something like that would happen. But moving on, we're going to continue to, like, something that people technically seem to neglect in terms of, like, speculation about, I've noticed, and kind of talking about, and that's the Oceans of Hytale. And, you know, it's a fully populated zone in this game. It's not like Minecraft, where it's been very barren up until very recently. So if you think there will be, what underwater biomes do you expect to find down there, and what treasures do you think? Well,
for starters, we know that there is going to be, like, lakes and, like, swamps, because we see it in the concept art with those swamp creatures. I completely forget the name of them, but we see, like, swamps. There's, like, hammerhead sharks in there and, like, sunken ships, and it kind of looks more like a swamp because the water's more green looking and more, like, gory in that sense. And then we also have, like, oceans, which we'll have, like, regular oceans, just like the regular ocean, like, mobs and everything, like the man-o-war, like the eel and stuff, the moray eel. And then we also have the deep ocean, because we know there's, like, a far ocean kraken. So I think the far ocean obviously would give you the better loot, but also would be much harder than, like, the regular ocean. And then, like, the regular ocean could probably give you, like, mediocre loot, but still pretty hard loot, because, you know, it's an ocean. It's harder to actually get into than, you know, just going through a cave, in my opinion. And then I think, like, the swamp should just give you, like, normal loot, just like normal shipwrecks, whatever could be found on a ship and everything like that.
Okay. Yeah, so you're thinking kind of like
that's what I'm thinking.
Based on, like,
it also could
almost
depend on the mobs that are around it too.
That could be really cool. And speaking of things that we'd find, like, you know, exploring the deeper depths of the ocean, how dangerous do you think should it be? Like, what should you find really deep down compared to upwards, maybe in the swamps?
Yeah, as you know, like in the like far, like deep ocean, they have the far ocean krakens, and maybe they'll have, like, a megalodon that they haven't showed us or something. I think that would be a really cool idea. Or maybe like a like a giant squid, where we said the kraken, and then maybe we can have some, like, whales. I don't know if whales would be hostile, but I think that would be a cool mob to maybe see. And then in the normal oceans, you can just have a bunch of eels, just regular, like, great white sharks. That could be a big, like, counter. Yeah, just
kind
like
of stuff we're more familiar with.
Like, I'm kind of predicting, like, the far ocean to be like the Marianas Trench for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, and speaking of, like, you know, undiscovered things, there's a lot of people wondering about Zone 4, and it's likely to be the next thing Hytale reveals to us, but maybe not, because we are kind of getting closer to when the next blog post would come out, so it kind of is up in the air. But do you feel like they will reveal it to us, or do you think it'll be something they leave for us to explore? Well, they do want us
to explore the game ourselves, but I do think a small teaser in Zone 4 would probably be a little better, just like how they gave us, like, that Zone 3 teaser. They don't have to elaborate on it, but they can just give us a teaser just to see what it'll be, like the Zone 4 wildlife, or, like, what, like, the environment in Zone 4 would be.
Okay, and speaking of that, would you focus on lava fields or the hidden underground jungles where the Slothians are? Because I don't know if that was Zone 3. Was that Zone 3 or Zone 4?
Caves are Zone 4.
Yeah, I think it was. Which one would you want to actually traverse? Well,
personally, I hate like anything that has to do with caves. Like, I love Minecraft caves, but they're so boring. But, like, I've played Ark in the past, and those caves always come with spiders, and everyone hates spiders. So I just rather not go into a cave. I'd rather have, like, a lava field, which, in my opinion, we don't see as, like, often as a cave, because there's caves in almost every single game.
Yeah, that's a fair point to make. I think that's a very interesting dynamic. Also, I kind of want to point out is that it's usually kind of reversed, where the core is more lava and underground is more heat. It's even like that in Minecraft in some cases. Back in the earlier days, you'd find nothing but lava if you went down too far. But instead, this is flipped. It's on the top, and the bottom is where it's peaceful and like it has fauna, and it's very, very green. It's going to be interesting to see how players tackle that zone, because it's going to be interesting. And speaking of that, we actually saw dinosaurs in Zone 4, or in speculation and concept arts. So, would you think that these dinosaurs could be tamed or mounted?
Personally, I think some of them can be tamed, like the Velociraptor that we can see. Maybe the T-Rex, I don't really know, but coming again from an Ark background, you can tame the T-Rex and the Velociraptor, so I think that would be a cool idea, but I'd rather tame a Velociraptor than a T-Rex, in my opinion. I just think they're way cooler, but I think they'd be tameable. I'm not sure if, like, the Dimetrodon would be tameable, or, like, the cave chicken, whatever it's called, or that, like, cave monkey. I don't know. I don't think those would be tameable, but I'd like to see the raptor be tameable, in my opinion.
Yeah, some extra mobility options and stuff would definitely be nice, because a game like Minecraft, for example, basically has none. You have like a minecart, a horse, a pig, and an elytra, and that's like it. So it'd be kind of cool to see some more diversity, you know, in terms of
I would love to have
in a game
a
like
Velociraptor army. That would be the icing on the cake.
Yeah, yeah. And we're gonna move on to something a little more recent in terms of events. So, like, as we know, Hytale has been really quiet recently, giving us no new blogs, images, and very limited information, just like maybe a screenshot here and there for the past like 3 months. What is your view on the situation? Do you believe that developers have made the right choice in the reduced like information, or do you think that they should have kept it consistent? I personally think they should have kept
it consistent. Just from a content like wise, just from us, like, not to be selfish or anything, but like we kind of need content to like produce videos. And if they're not giving us anything, plus unless we get like a screenshot like once every month, which we've been getting recently, it's been tough, like just trying to find like information just make a video on. It's been rough. And then also trying to find, like, you know how they created one picture within the last month, and it was basically the Golden Joystick Awards or the like Halloween picture, which really didn't showcase that much, just like a twerk camp and then like a little haunted house. So it's really nothing that we can make a bunch of content on. I really want them to be
nothing new. It's stuff we already know, just kind of in a different place.
Content for us to like, look at least.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly understandable. And speaking of, like, you know, the lack of things, we obviously got word from Noxy recently saying that there would be a new blog post coming soon, within the next week. So what sort of news do you expect to get from the blog
I was actually
post?
making a joke of this earlier, and I was just talking with my friends, and I thought they're going to say, like, yo, this blog post is going to be like, sorry guys, no new information, blog post coming up next week. And then that would just be terrible. But personally, I think it would just be like a big blog post. Obviously, they're going to start off with them saying like they're sorry for not saying anything. But then I think it would be maybe like one of those like 3 bunch of blog posts, which I didn't really like that much. I'd rather have like blog post week after week after week. It would just like ease out the space a little more. Like every 2 weeks, it would make it at least a little more content. So I think they're going to maybe do something big and not a beta release. I really want one so bad, like at least a release date. But maybe revealing like another faction would be really cool, or revealing Zone 4, or maybe talking about the oceans, which I think I would love to actually learn about, because the oceans are a really cool part.
Yeah, I think it will be big because, like I'm about to mention, the anniversary is coming up for the trailer. And there's been a lot of talk about that in the community. There's a lot of people kind of speculating what it might be, because it is going to be 1 year since that trailer came out, and you know, it would make sense if something big came out. So what do you believe, like, okay, there might be bigger news coming that day. So what do you believe will happen on the day? And do you think the community is right to be excited about it?
I'm extremely excited about it. Like, the community has all the rights in the world to be excited about it. Personally, like, I would love a beta release date. Like, that would be the dream. Like, Christmas would come early if that would happen. But I'm not too sure, because Noxy said in one of his recent tweets or something like that that the beta is like not. He didn't say it's like not coming, but he said he has no information about that right now. So I don't think it'll be coming recently, but hopefully they do something like big, gave us like a nice blog post, or just something that can get the hype back, and maybe like another trailer, which I really think would really put the hype back into the community, just showing what they've done so far after like the other trailer.
That would be huge. Yeah. Yeah, that would be huge if another trailer came out, like maybe a gameplay trailer, because that's usually how it works with game development. We usually see like an announcement trailer that has a lot of, you know, cutscenes and kind of just promotional material, and then we get a gameplay trailer, and then after the gameplay trailer comes
really
out,
hope so.
Typically. Yeah, we all do. And last but not least, as we've been talking about kind of throughout the entire thing, when do you think the 1.0?
Well, considering we don't have the beta yet, I'm probably going to predict in not in 2020, probably 2021. I don't know how long the beta is going to be. It could be a couple months, could be a couple weeks. I doubt it'll be a couple weeks, considering how long it's taken for them to get it. So I think it'll be like probably late 2020, early to mid 2021.
That's a fair guess. I mean, you know, considering it's been almost a year and we haven't even gotten a general release date yet, so you know, that's a fair thing to say. And with that said, that's all the questions we had for today. So if there's anything else you would like to say, socials or anything along those lines.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, make sure you guys join the Blockshot Discord, because we have a lot of stuff planned for the future, and it's going to be great. Yes. Honestly, I can't wait for that. I'm super excited.
Yep. I can confirm. It is exciting. So thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm glad to
have
had
me.
you.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, and make sure to follow Canadian Flash on Twitter. All his links will be in the description below. And make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more Hytale related podcasts. With that said, this has been your host, Fezzy the Frog, and we'll see you next time.